Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today, and I'm sharing with you a layout that I created for an Instagram hop for Clique kits and SpiegelMom scraps. So these two companies came together, and if you head over to Instagram and you head to my channel, if you happen, or my, is it a channel on Instagram? What is it? If you head to me, you can pick up from there and then kind of follow along, and there are prizes to be won. So that is the digital cut file that I cut out on my Cameo, and that is from Clique Kits. And then I am using this collection from My Mind's Eye. It's called Gal Meets Glam, and this actually came from a scrap room kit. So I am going to actually use pattern paper for a background. Shock, horror, surprise, right? And I was looking there for papers that I could back the photo with, but I ultimately decide that there's enough color in the photo that I am not actually going to back it. I do end up putting lots of layers behind it, but there are journal cards and various other things that I do actually supplement the kit with. I pulled out some goodies from these things here are from Vicki Boutin, and so what I had done was I pulled things that had the sort of that soft, that mint color, hot pink and black in them, and that is what I end up layering around the photo for a splash of color to just tie in the colors of the pattern papers that I'm going to use with the layout there. And so what I've done there is I've created a visual triangle with the black elements that I just traced in the air with my air drawing. So the black is the die cut to that black journaling spot, to that black Vicki Boutin phrase, and it says your vibe attracts your tribe. And I really wanted to incorporate that into the layout because these gals that Mia goes to cotillion with, they are definitely her type of people. So I'm just looking for embellishments now that will match, that will kind of dress up the layout a little bit. These are embellishments that came with the kit. If nothing is going to fit or work with the theme of the layout, then I'm not going to use anything. I'm not going to use them just because. I have dressed up the die cut there, you can see, with that floral, and it does end up covering one of the flowers, but that's okay because it needed that pop of color up there to complement the pink down at the bottom there. So I'm going to shuffle things around a little bit. I found that chipboard that says Ooh La La, which is what I'm going to use as the title for my layout. But in shifting things around, you can see how you lose that visual triangle. Things here now kind of go on a diagonal with that black just looking kind of like an eyesore. So I will shuffle things around a little bit until I ultimately settle on that same pattern that I initially started with. But you see that little black frame that's sticking out from underneath the photo? That actually says something. It says, and I've actually obscured it, so I can't tell you what it says because I've covered it up with sequins, but I'm not really concerned about what it says so much as that hint of black. So I will swap those elements after I've shuffled them around a whole lot because I really liked having that black visual triangle of those black elements. But I left the shuffle in here so that you could see that sometimes it doesn't come easily as to how you're going to make those things work. The reason that I didn't like that your vibe attracts your tribe where it is it feels like this huge black eyesore sticking out of the edge of the page. So by sticking the sequins here is where I get the idea that I really want to make a row of sequins that I'm going to attach to thread, or I'm going to thread through string. And that's how I end up deciding to swap out the element under the photo with that particular element there. I am also going to scatter sequins throughout the top left just to tie everything in together. But it takes me a while to figure out where I want this sequins to go. And the sequins mix that I'm using has pink and white in it, and it's called Freezin' for a Reason, and it's one of the newer mixes. So I thought I could tuck it in, and this is where I ultimately decide that I really like the balance of that black there underneath the photo with the black die cut, followed by this here with Ooh La La nestled in it. And that creates a much more unified layout to me. So I've committed to all the layers, so I'm going to just adhere everything down. One thing that I do that I don't believe I do on camera, actually I'm doing it right now, is I'm going to take that pink that I've cut off and put it on the other side. Am I? I'm not sure that I'm going to, but in the final product, there we go. I am going to use that pink tucked in at the other side. Nope, I got rid of it, but I actually do cut off the end of the pink and tuck it in on the other side, and it just creates some continuity across the picture here. So if you follow my videos, you'll recognize these girls. My daughter goes to Cotillion, and these are the girls that she has. This is her second year of Cotillion in 7th grade. It is completely voluntary, and these pictures are from her first, I think it was her first Cotillion. So there is another picture of her just all dressed up by herself that I've scrapbooked already, and this is a picture of her with all of the girls before they left for dinner, because Cotillion this year is really late. It's 8:30 to 10, I believe, which for 7th graders, to me, that's awfully late, but it's only a couple of times every other week, and she enjoys it, so it's worth doing. So I'm going to use that as a shelf to nestle the title, and then you will see what I do with the sequins. So I'm going to thread them like I've shown you in a video how to do previously over on SpiegelMom Scraps, and then once I thread them, I'm actually going to attach them. What I did on the previous video was I threaded the sequins and then I went back through them. So I went over, and then when I went back across them, I went under. So it kind of created a figure 8 through them. This time what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to thread them onto a double threaded. So what I did is I'm going to thread the needle and pull the thread all the way through so that I have 2 strands running through the sequence. And then what I'm going to do, rather so that they're not loose and they don't fall off the thread, is I'm actually just going to back definitely the beginning, the end, and then a few in between with glue dots, and then those thinner glue dots are literally going to anchor it so that you still have the loose ends of the thread, which just adds some fun to that. And actually what I've done is I've threaded pink and gold through the sequence. So here I am threading them, and I'm just choosing a pattern that's pleasing, kind of trying to alternate but not make it a consistent pattern. You need some randomness to the pattern. There we go. And then I'm going to get the glue dots and then back a few of those to attach it to the page. So literally I've just passed through the sequence once in each mix. There we go. My original thought was that they would look great there to add a little bit of color, but you can't really see them. And then I liked them there, but that was going to cover up my limited journaling space. And then I decide, well, that's a good place for them, and that's where they're going to go. So these are the tiny glue dots in the green case there. They work perfectly for sequins. I don't typically use them because it's fussy work for me. It's much faster for me to put sequins down with my liquid glue. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually pulling the dot off with my tweezers, sticking it down on the paper, and then sticking the sequins on top of that. And as long as you get the first one and the last one, you are good to go. So that, my friends, is ultimately going to be the bulk of the layout. I am going to scatter a few of the other sequins throughout the page or up around the top. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. Is there anything you would like me to do with sequins? If there is, let me know, because my time is running low with SpiegelMom Scraps. I have the month of December left, and then I am moving on. I will have served 2 years on the team, and it's been a fantastic 2 years, but it's time to let some other gals enjoy this sequence, and I will continue to use it on all my other layouts. You know I will. So thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Take care.